This is the very pretty road that goes from Ulceby Cross to Hagworthingham. I did this journey daily for around 4.5 years from I was 17, as it was on my route to work. The road runs along Brinkhill Top, and on my visits to my old home I usually stop just along there, as it, in my opinion, is one of the most prettiest parts of the Wolds, and so I was very, very fortunate in my youth to travel this road daily. Mind you, for 3 years on winters on a motorbike and 1 in a car on these untreated roads, it was sometimes rather challenging. However, I must have been up to the job, because I never fell off or crashed my car. So unfortunately I don't see why we have to have salt on the roads that rots your car out, you know, which is totally unnecessary for most of the trip. It's just a shame the councils that put the salt down should have to lay underneath the car welding them up. They might not be so keen then. Right, this is Brinkhill Top. It's a really lovely spot. And just on the brow of the hill there is a turning to the right down to Brinkhill. We're just passing it in a moment. There we are, and I often stop there and take some nice photos. This is Harrington Hill we're approaching, and there are 1 or 2 tales of people losing the brakes years ago and being very busy for a day or two, pumping the brakes and pulling the handbrake and changing gear going down here. Just around the corner is a farm to the left, and one of the first farms to have a road that led to it instead of just a dirt track. I had my very first driving lesson on that road just to the left as we pass now, when I was 7 years old. My father had a 1936 Hillman Minx, and I can even now remember driving it along there, putting it in first gear and then in second gear along that road. Something I've never regretted, because from that day forward, and then driving tractors, I've not really had to learn how to drive. This is Harrington, by the way, of course, and to the left is Harrington Hall. It's a lovely building, but had a major fire quite a few years ago. However, it has been properly resurrected. One day in the snow coming home on frozen roads, I was racing with a mate. There was no one about, and I was in an old A40 Somerset, and we were doing 70 miles an hour for most of the way along this road, and on those last 2 bends we've just gone round, I actually went from one corner to the next in full opposite log. We had a great deal of fun occasionally. In fact, after that we actually nicknamed this the racetrack, although we didn't race about, and we never ever drove dangerously. That must be stressed, because we never had an accident, we did it daily, and in fact, just a few bends ahead, one day I was coming home in my Mini, and I came across a tractor and trailer absolutely blocking the road, and yet I managed to stop safely, albeit with only a few inches to spare. But remember, the old Mini brakes were nothing like as good as the cars of today, so I obviously knew how fast I could go and what my stopping distance was. It was just round this bend we're going round now, but coming the other way. Dropping slightly down the hill, we come to a very nice humpback bridge, with Stockworth Mill on the right hand side. This is an old water mill. The wheel is still there, but it no longer works, and the building is just a tea room. Otherwise I might have stopped and took a video of the old mill working. A little further to the right there is a road, well, it's a green lane actually, and it's now no longer passable because they turned it into lanes. But one night coming home I used to go down there just for a change of route and come out the other side. Well, imagine my surprise when one night I came across this lake in the middle of the road. We had to stop rather quickly. So here we are now, we're just at Hagworthingham, and this is where the road, the main Skegness road from Horncastle to Skegness, the A158 runs. So we'll stop the video here, but that's one of the prettiest journeys you'll ever be delightful to make.